A new way of purifying water could provide access to safe, clean drinking water and help end the reliance on plastic bottled water for thousands of people in the UK alone, according to its developers. IF Water, based in Glasgow, say there are tens of thousands of homes and businesses in remote parts of Scotland that could benefit from their technology.
22,000 properties in Scotland are reliant on private water supplies like wells, boreholes and springs, and 14% of those have been found to have E. coli in them. In the UK, there are 75,000 of these properties, but globally the problem is much bigger, with 2/3 of the world's population facing water shortages or lack of clean drinking water. It's a problem that's only going to get worse as climate change increases and water quality access to water quality gets harder.
Their technology has been fitted at a hotel in the west of Scotland with no clean water supply.
It's a private, burn-fed, natural spring-type water, which inherently has colour in it because of the nature of the soil and the terrain it's passing through. So it has a sort of browny hue colour to it.
Moreover, Parker said he has spent tens of thousands of pounds trying to make the spring water supply clean and fit for drinking without success, and now spends around £13,000 a year on bottled water. The patent-pending IF Water device uses mechanical vapor compression technology to distill the water, creating pure, clean water that is safe to drink and leaving any contaminants behind. It uses no chemicals or filters that can clog up and reduce efficiency. The high system temperatures are maintained by steam compression using a low-energy, specialized pump system, unlike traditional distillation, which requires continued use of an energy-intensive heating system. The current system is capable of producing up to 250 liters per day, which satisfies the water demands of the hotel. Peters said he hopes to roll the technology out to help in disaster zones in the future, reducing the reliance on water being shipped in plastic bottles. Polyethylene terephthalate bottles are commonly used for soft drinks and mineral water, but can also be used in other household or personal care products. Around the world, almost 1 million plastic bottles are purchased every minute. As the environmental impact of that tide of plastic becomes a growing political issue, drinking bottles are one of many types of plastic pollution, currently causing environmental problems, with countries under pressure to cut the flow of the single-use bottles and containers that are clogging the world's waterways. The test pilots who rode Boeing's Starliner capsule into orbit are now at the International Space Station. NASA's Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams made their way into the International Space Station hours after the capsule docked, and they were greeted with hugs and handshakes. Boeing's new capsule arrived at the International Space Station on Thursday, delayed by last-minute thruster trouble that almost derailed the docking for this first test flight with astronauts. The 260-mile-high, or 420-kilometer-high link-up over the Indian Ocean culminated more than a day of continuing drama for Boeing's astronaut flight debut, carrying Wilmore and Williams. Boeing plans to keep Starliner at the space station for at least 8 days before guiding it to a landing in the western U.S. Williams entered the space station first, dancing on the way into music. Wilmore followed, snapping his fingers. They embraced the 7 space station residents. The Starliner capsule already had one small helium leak when it rocketed into orbit with 2 NASA astronauts Wednesday. Boeing and NASA managers were confident they could manage the propulsion system despite the problem, and that more leaks were unlikely. But just hours into the flight, 2 more leaks cropped up. Later, 4 of the capsule's 28 thrusters went down. The astronauts managed to restart 3 of them, providing enough safety margin to proceed. By then, Starliner had passed up the first docking opportunity and circled the world for an extra hour alongside the station before moving in. It was not immediately known whether the thrusters' problems were related to earlier leaks. Earlier in the day, before the thrusters malfunctioned, Boeing spokesman Jim May said the helium leaks posed no safety issues for the astronauts or the mission. Helium is used to pressurize the fuel lines of Starliner's thrusters, which are essential for maneuvering. Before liftoff, engineers devised a plan to work around any additional leaks in the system. A faulty rubber seal, no bigger than a shirt button, is believed responsible for the original leak. After the space shuttles retired, NASA hired Boeing and SpaceX to ferry astronauts to and from the space station. SpaceX's taxi service began in 2020. Boeing was supposed to start around the same time, but was held up for years by safety concerns and other troubles. Nvidia rallied to record highs on Wednesday, June 5th, with the artificial intelligence chipmaker's valuation breaching the $3 trillion mark and overtaking Apple to become the world's second most valuable company. Nvidia has prepared to split its stock 10-for-1, effective on June 7th, a move that could increase its appeal to individual investors. The surge in Nvidia's market value above Apple's marks a shift in Silicon Valley, which the company co-founded by Steve Jobs has dominated since it launched the iPhone in 2007.
AI is really a fourth industrial revolution that's playing out. These chips are the new gold, the new oil in terms of what NVIDIA is producing. And it's enabling enterprises and consumers to access applications and data they've never been able to access. And that's why it's really creating what's an AI revolution across tech.
Nvidia's stock rose 5.2% to end the day at $1,224.40, valuing the company at $3.012 trillion. Apple's market capitalization was last at $3.003 trillion after its stock climbed 0.8%. Microsoft, based in Redmond, Washington, remained the world's most valuable company at $3.15 trillion after its shares climbed 1.9%.
The godfather of AI, Jensen and NVIDIA, they're the only game in town in terms of AI. So all the chips, they're at the top of the mountain, and they are single-handedly really providing the picks and shovels for this gold rush. And that's why you see them surpassing 3 trillion, surpassing Apple from market cap. But I believe NVIDIA could be the most valuable company in the world. We look out over the coming years.
The chip maker has seen soaring demand for its semiconductors, which are used to power artificial intelligence applications.
So Nvidia is a very key stock for the market in the last year or two. They design chips that used to be used to run graphics, and now they run AI applications, and everybody wants them. And the fact that AI demand for these services has completely gone supernova in the past several months to a year, there's just not an alternative really for NVIDIA's design chips.
Nvidia's stock has surged 147% so far in 2024, with demand for its top-of-the-line processors far outstripping supply as Microsoft, Meta Platforms, and Google owner Alphabet race to build out their AI computing capabilities and dominate the emerging technology. It has rallied nearly 30% just since May 22nd, when Nvidia issued its latest stellar revenue forecast. Nvidia added nearly $150 billion in market capitalization on Wednesday, more than the entire value of AT&T. Scientists in the Strait of Magellan made a rare discovery of red hydrocorals, uncovering a previously unknown ecosystem in the southernmost part of the American continent. The red hydrocorals, or Arena Antarctica colonies, were found inside Chile's Cahuascar National Reserve in Patagonia by the Rewilding Chile Foundation and the Spanish Institute of Oceanography. This is the furthest that south red hydrocorals have ever been found. Scientists were also surprised to find them in shallow waters at only 1.23 meters or 4 feet deep, as they are usually located at greater depths. They are three-dimensional and calcareous. What's interesting about these three-dimensional complex structures they develop is the increase of biodiversity in that place. They are shelters or habitats for many species. In our study, we have a list. Many species have been identified. They were found living, feeding, or spawning there. They also serve as mating places for some species. There are many species related to these animal forests, as they are known. The corals are very sensitive to global warming, so they could alert scientists on changes in marine habitats. Three 5-month-old Andean bear cubs frolicked at the Wildlife Conservation Society's Queens Zoo in New York City, running, jumping, and climbing up tree limbs. The cubs, 2 males and a female, were born on January 3rd to a mature female known as Nicole. They made their outdoors debut earlier this week.
It's very exciting for us. I think it's very exciting for them. They basically come out and they explore their world for the first time. They're climbing the trees, they're checking out the grass, they're climbing on the rocks. This morning they were going for a little swim in the pool. So they're just trying to figure out what their environment is and get a better understanding of it.
Typically, Andean bears give birth to only 1 or 2 cubs at a time, so having a 3 in one litter is very special and very rare. Also known as spectacled bears due to light coloration around the eyes and cream-colored markings on the muzzle and chest, they are the only bears native to South America. The arboreal animals use their front claws to climb and forage for food, and they nest in trees for sleeping and eating. Adult males grow to 300 to 350 pounds, with females reaching around 200 pounds. Their diet is largely vegetarian. Andean bears are very reclusive by nature and rarely seen in the wild. According to the Wildlife Conservation Society, their populations have declined dramatically due to deforestation and hunting.
Andean bears are incredibly rare. They're the only bear found in South America. There are only about 18,000 bears left in the world. The Queens Zoo Andean bears are part of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums Species Survival Plan, which manages all the bears within the North American AZA zoos, of which there are only about 33. So they pair up different bears to produce offspring to make sure that we manage genetic diversity across the bear population in North America.
The International Union of Conservation of Nature estimates there are fewer than 18,000 bears now surviving in the wild.